performance coming out of Massive, and even though they had a strong game one, I think it's absolutely time for them to bounce back as we get very close to draft, I believe, Quicksand, to round off the night. I mean, who's going to win? We're 1-for-1 right now. I'm worried for the viewers with their channel points right now because it can really go either way.
That's right. So here's a reminder. If you haven't bet your channel points yet, you're holding on to a fat stack in your back pocket as we roll right into this draft. I mean, please do spend all your money irresponsibly on the gamble. Obviously, it's not real money. It's just channel points. I'm not giving any financial advice here. I'm just saying you could win a couple points and all the redeems we have available, like modify a single emote. I'm just saying, guys.
Spicy one.
Who doesn't want to modify an emote? Either way, we're straight into this draft. It's Xayah, Jinx, gone again. Irelia being banned out. It's pretty similar to what we saw last game with these hyper carries being taken out. Aphelios still on the board right now.
Yeah, no, Aphelios still on the board, but not that they've actually ignored AD carry, of course. UQ Eagles in all 3 games now have taken away the Jinx and the Xayah away from Lucas. His 2 best champions, 2 really strong champs in the meta, so that makes sense, and then the Wukong as well to match. So, clearly confident in how they drafted in the second game. They're happy to just completely mirror how that first phase went, and not a lot of changes coming out from Massive either, so that tells me that it doesn't really start at this point in draft where they feel like they were on the back foot, and one may argue that it was certainly in-game shot calling decisions that let Massive down, and they were very mismatched in how they wanted to play fights. That's not really something you can address in draft more than you can on the Rift.
Whoa.
So I like that both teams have been strong, and straight away we just see that twitch. So a bit of space gliding action from Lucas. I know that he really gets excited about picking this Twitch. He loves it, and he loves it for that reason because it is such just that highlight champion, right? It's so easy to see someone pop off, you know, you get the everything is black song going. It's all just, all the stars align, and then boom, you know, you're a 1v9 right IRL carry. So we'll see if he gets to pull that off, picking up El Rato, but Lissandra away for Jaden as well. Shows me that they will really want to center on Lucas's performance, that he's been really strong throughout this series. Even though they lost game 2, I think he was looking really good on the Varus, but he just couldn't do much with how the rest of the map panned out. So I like that Massive already in this draft are going, okay, Lucas, you're feeling yourself. Time for you to carry.
Well, that's something I want to throw out to you, Casual, is Ahri being, and Aphelios, as expected, should have been picked in earlier, now being picked in. Ahri, do you really want to first pick that champion? Because to me, the way Ahri has been clarified and explained in pro play is somebody that you don't play control mages into, or you choose if you see a control mage, just because they have no mobility. She has lots of mobility. Is Ahri as a first pick something you want to do? And if so, why?
I mean, it's a worry. I don't think you can really blind Ahri in most cases of the game. It depends what you want to go for. The reason why you can't blind Ahri is because she's such a strong side laner. You want to guarantee a decent matchup for when you're in the side lane. But now Massive have the opportunity to counter that and look for really safe lanes that they can protect their carries on, and so Ahri can't really do as much being called out. So yeah, you hit the charm, but then Twitch will have cleanse, he'll have a lantern on top of him, and a Lissandra to lay a CC on top of as well. So already you can see Ahri being negated because they did take that risk and blind it. I think it's more of a case of not doing it because it's good Quicksand, but doing it because you have limited options. I mean, Silas and Irelia taken away from FTR. This is the closest thing that FTR gets to the similar style that he likes to play. He likes to dart around the map with lots of mobility, make these crazy plays. Ahri as a mage is probably the closest thing that you'll get. So clearly it's priority for him. It's the safest pick that he can opt for, and that's why. However, Massive have the counter, so it's up to them to actually playing for that and punishing FTR in his limited champion pool.
Vi taken out as expected. A fairly strong jungler right now, as we're about to get the chance to witness what junglers we're going to see locked in here. And with Sion being taken out as well, it's trying to remove a lot of that side lane pressure you were just talking about. Dude, I know in my games, I'm seeing Sion 5 miles down to my inhibitor when I'm taking Baron, so good to see he's gone. But the other bloke who does that pretty well can be an Olaf, running straight into the back of your team, into everybody you love because you can't protect them. But there's one person that makes Olaf's his non-CC-ness not as good because it gets cancelled. There's a lot of words going through my head right now, but Kindred basically makes Olaf not as funny.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I think the Kindred's really interesting for me as well, because I believe CM Stet is actually a close friend or just a friend of M4, that famous Kindred player in our region who has terrorized or rewarded us with LP or taken it away from us as well at many, many different points throughout each season of League of Legends. So funny that he picks up the Kindred. I mean, we'll have to see. Maybe there's a some change swap. Maybe they need to win this series with M4 on their backs. Who knows? You know, I'm not making any claims. I just find it funny that the champion's picked in the final game. But then Cassante to match is really nice as well. The only worry, I think, is that they're really, really topside heavy with AD. So Massive, yeah, exactly, have the option to just pick up a tank and stack that armor, which they will with the Sejuani. Even if Sejuani has no magic resist at all, Ari's a burst mage, quicksand. So it's not like she's really targeting tanks anyway. So CTB doesn't really have any worry, particularly in their comp. My only issue, though, is that UQ Eagles played really, really well when it comes to them actually playing around CM Stet in this second game. You know, they countered the invade, they defended their jungler, they allowed him to path aggressively throughout the mid game. Now that he's on something like the Kindred, they don't really have a choice other than to play like that. So off the momentum of a win, off of understanding what they need to achieve as a team, I feel like this Kindred makes a lot more sense. They're very much putting all of their eggs into the CM Stet basket here. The only worry, though, is that their solo lanes are now going to be really, really under pressure. So all of the eggs are in the basket because Cassante has an incredibly difficult matchup 1v1 into the Olaf, and then of course Lissandra is that classical counter to the Ahri. So UQ Eagles really need to look for an early lead here to make sure they can get to that all-important late game in which their comp is pretty much just Exodia.
That's right. Well, Exodia is a good way to put it, but they're going to have to make it to that point. So I think our casters are just on the other side to be able to break this down a little bit more. We'll see you guys in just a moment, on the other side of the game.
See you then.
Thank you, Quickie Casual guys. Absolutely smashed that drafting phase.
God.
Everything. That's what it was. That's what they're called, right? That's the
Quick and Casual, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Let's break down these teams, right? Like, because they are looking real nice. I saw that Cassante Hobbit, and I just had a little cute little squeal pop out of me. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I mean we're limited on time, but it's a really clean draft here from the UQ Eagles. A lot to be said in lane, I think, by Massive if they can generate leads. If CTB and Lasser can make things happen, shut down this Ahri early, then they certainly shut down some agency because each other lane feels like it's pretty even, if not slightly winning in their favor. So a lot to be said around the mid game skirmishes, around objectives for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this Twitch Aphelios sort of matchup can go too. I feel like it will be that hyper carry versus hyper carry into the late game as well. But again, I'm looking at this Lissandra. If this Lissandra doesn't all in this Aphelios and has to burn that Kindred R, then I'm not sure what I'll be expecting, but there is a lot of front line for this Aphelios and Ahri to really get through. But at the same time, Cassante, Kindred, and Braum, like, that's pretty fearsome too. Like, you got to be scared of this Kindred. There's 280 carries on this blue side, and, you know, 280 carries is better than one, especially when one can stay alive and keep doing damage. So I'm really excited to see how these teams decide to fare up in our final game. Weapon, I think we could just go to a break and just wait.
I think we can.
Keep everyone on the edge of their seats, am I right?
Yeah, I think we can. We'll have a lot more to say about these comps when we come back from the break for sure.
Absolutely. So guys, stay tuned. We'll be back for game number 3, UQ versus Massive. We'll see you there. Ladies and gentlemen, a rat in a hat, or we might even say a rat on the rift. Can it be the make or break champion? We've got some ice tombs. We've got a big ice shield coming in hot too. Weapon, it's going to be a game for the ages as we finish off the first night of the training grounds here at Mcom. Are you just as, like, honestly, I'm pretty pumped for this. I haven't seen Alessandra in ages.
Yeah, 1-1 series. It's what you'd want from the first night. So, yeah, we're definitely going to see who takes it all here. As it's looking like a bit of a front to back setup for both teams, but working in different ways. Where you've got this Sejuani and Lacera on Alessandra looking to buy space for Twitch, whereas you've got the ability to Kindred reset on the other side for UQ, which means that after that Kindred ultimate comes out, they want to be able to turn and burn with the Avelios probably building up that Bloodthirster, and Cassante kicking someone off the ultimate. So a lot of execution to be called for from both teams playing around that Kindred ultimate. We'll have to see who comes out the better of it, because tracking that cooldown and playing around it is going to be key here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm also looking at two ghosts in this game. We've got Ghost on Twitch and Olaf, so clearly they're saying we're either going to run around you or we're going to run at you, or maybe run away from you. I don't know. I kind of like the first two. But again, we're expecting to see Olaf do some big things early in this game. Kind of sad.
Speaking
it's
of
Olaf.
Yeah, speaking of, it's going to be a split map situation. So invade by CM Stat, backed up by his bot lane on the bot side, is going to be resulting in the blue buff going down. And this means that we're going to have a cross map on the top side, or a vertical jungle from Sejuani. She's clearing up towards top. And I suspect that this means that CTB may end up having to play around this Olaf maybe a little bit more than he wanted to. But this could be okay, because you want to get that Olaf rolling against the Cassante.
Yeah.
Just means that you may be leaving your bot lane out to dry here. I want to see how Lucozade and Resurgence are able to navigate the situation. As right now, they are keeping the wave kind of where they want, Frozen on their side, and we're just going to have a bit of a collision of junglers here. Maybe Lacera under threat.
Stat wants to walk in here, but you can see CTB is already here, trying to get that little proc off. Good bit of damage coming off, forcing Lacera back, but again, like you said, that counter jungling, Sejuani doesn't know. She's getting down to her bot side and saying, "Where's all my stuff?"
This is awkward. Yeah, so CTV, I mean, he's playing a low weak on jungle. It's not exactly a champion who requires a lot of farm, but he has...
CTV is actually here, but does get away. Nicely done.
It wasn't even looking at the bottom right hand of my screen there, so I didn't even see the gank coming in, but CTV finds the angle on OPR, puts down some pressure, and makes up for a little bit of the CS he's lost by finding some value, and they're even going to invade this top side with the priority that the Olaf has bought them. So a little bit of gold going back into CTB's pockets, and it's all just off of the pressure of lanes having slightly winning matchups.
Yeah, it's about having that priorities. Like, they saw that, well, again, Sejuani didn't know that her bot side was completely taken, so she went down there looking to support, realizing not where I need to be, and Olaf having that priority was beautiful, being able to back her up and say, yeah, I'm going to go get some vision for you, let's go steal all her stuff, and they did an excellent job of that. So really smart to recover from what seemed like a bit of a dire situation for Sejuani, and keeping her relevant in this game.
Yeah, I'm actually going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it looks like Kindred may be setting up a play here. Really good hook might dissuade the play as the shield has gone down, so you maybe have to call this one off.
There's a Kindred there, though.
Yeah, Kindred may have to dive.
Yeah, they're holding the wave pretty well, though. I'd be worried. But you can see they're trying their best. Aphelios is doing his best, but with the guns that he's got at his disposal, the Gravitas and the Flamethrower now, a little bit easy to push. And Kindred is still here. No way.
They're pulling the trigger.
And Lucozade having to go invisible, trying to stay alive as Resurgence does have hook. There's the TP coming in from the Sandra, but can they do enough damage? The hook does go down. First blood going over the Trish. There's the flash stun, but is it going to be enough as Lucozade wants to do a little bit more? But no, Stet actually picks up it. But there's the kill too. Lucozade is back on fire, looking for Sue as well. There's the double kill, and it's an excellent play coming out of this bot side.
Yeah, really nicely played there. Lacera burns the teleport to come in to support the boys in the bot side, try and dissuade the dive, and the Twitch is able to just turn and kind of nullify the play a little bit. They give up a little bit, but it's certainly answered back in kind, so the Twitch getting 2 kills feels like about the best outcome you could hope for, and they're even going to save their flashes on the bot side, so those defensive tools are still going to be available for the bot side come the next play, and they're just going to redeploy straight down. Looks like maybe a play for the Dragon, but ultimately, play handled really by the bot side.
all I could think of the whole time that was running through my head when that was happening was just the Cops theme song. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we come? Sorry, I just had to put it out.
Okay.
But it was way too much fun.
Thanks for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. Look, if you guys have other song requests, I got you. With NCS available. Bad Boys might be, but it was me singing, so it's okay.
Nice. It's transformative content, but it is going to be a dragon taken by the UQ Eagles side. So once again, a dragon surrendered by the massive side. They do this quite a bit, where it feels like they make the play and then the reset comes in. And UQ are actually really good at reading when they can take this on tempo, and they do manage to sneak these dragons every now and then, and that one is no exception. Of course, the Extract Drake, one of the better ones to get a single one of, where you get that extra attack speed, a little bit of extra ability haste, and it really does go a long way in snowballing leads if you are starting to build them up. But right now, a bit of an even game state between both of them, so no one really pulling ahead in this game.
And it's like you said as well, as Sejuani having that sort of counter jungle a little bit at the start of the game. She is just in hard farmer mode. She's only up by a little bit, but not much map pressure from what we're really seeing. Obviously trying to be there, but honestly, big shout out to Lysea there for that TP fight that is giving that map pressure too, trying to be there for a team, as it just feels like Lucozade, who we know is a strong carry for this side, just not getting as much love as he should be.
Yeah, he is slowly starting to farm up though, and he will eventually get there. It's just a matter of what you can do to dissuade it. So Flash comes in with Resurgence.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of Brightest Pain as he Resurgence still just trying to stay alive. Lucid actually picks up the kill here. He does not have the ulti, and then turn this fight beautifully as there goes the Frozen. There's too much ice in this gameplay as FTR gets locked down, CC'd up, and the poison is here as two people on either side. It's not what you want to be doing as CTB does come through a little bit more, does get the kill. Nice little pick up from Lysea there as well. 3-1 and 3, looking good.
Yeah, and again, it's a really clean rotation from Lysea that sets up the fight, where he comes in the choke point where Lysandra is able to CC everyone, and CTB is able to assist with the stuns with the Sejuani E, even has Resurgence there to lend a hand to get those passive blocks. So it's really nicely navigated again by the massive side around that fight. And yes, the CS doesn't look great for the Twitch, but as these fights start to mount and they start to win these skirmishes, this is going to translate into more gold in the Twitch's pockets, and he's getting closer and closer to that incredibly cheap Blade of the Ruin and Power Spike, where he actually can be a little bit more proactive than the Aphelios.
With 3 kills and 0 deaths, it's still pretty nice to have on your side. It's a good little hook coming in there. And their CTP is actually coming in as well. And Stat is going to be jumped on 4 members strong.
Yeah, and this is what we were lacking from game 2. It's the coordination from Massive, where the CC lands, members pile in it, and they complete the pick, and they get the lockdown on CM Step. They even are going to probably pick up what looks like it's going to be the Rift Herald for the from that pick. So everything is just going right to the Massive side, and UQ just kind of felt wanting here. Kane is maybe looking for an angle here. FDR does have the ultimate.
Let me see some L's in chat for that missed cannon just then. I'm sorry, I have to call that out. I've seen one too many missed cannons in these games, and I need someone to make a mockery of it a little bit in chat.
Dude,
please, let's get it in there.
Missed cannons are like, they're fine. They happen, right? Sometimes unpressured missed cannons are definitely bad. The thing that I want to say I keep seeing a lot of, this is just, I'm going to straight up call out the pros. Missed Malphite ultimates. What's up with that?
No, I don't know, man.
What?
I'm more upset. I'm more upset that, like, so a missed cannon, right?
Yeah.
You break down the math of it. In the words of our Lord and Savior Faker, 0.5%. Every time you miss a cannon, you lose the game by 0.5% each time. Look, stack that up.
Let's do the maths.
Stack that math. That's a lot of math, right? And I'm not good at math. So, chat, give me a couple W's in chat for my math skills there.
Now, who missed the cannon? Because I actually completely missed it.
It was Lysea.
Okay, so Lysea loses. So Massive loss based on that.
Yeah. It's okay. So he's ahead.
Okay.
So fine.
He's doing.
But still, math. Baker would be upset, and if we make Baker cry, that's like making baby Jesus cry. It's not okay. All right.
I don't know if it's possible to make Baker cry. The dude just. Oh, actually, no, he did cry at like the.
He cried at Worlds.
At Worlds, yeah, it was a rough time.
Yeah, mate, he lost. I'd cry too.
Dude, they're devastating. We do have a series on our hands right here, 1-1, both teams. So MWB is... Oh, hook lands.
Good hook as it going in. Here comes both junglers as well. Resurgence is taking a big grunt to this one. Almost everything is stun. Look at this poison. Not too much, not that part.
Yeah, not quite the sting that you'd want from the Twitch, but you can see a little bit of how these fights are going to go as you just create space for Lucozade, who has been having an incredible series for himself, just to open up, spray and pray, and just rain damage from afar. And eventually that Braum shield is going to come down, so you will start doing more and more damage as these fights go on longer and longer. And the Kindred resets, we haven't really talked about this on the broadcast yet. Yes, Kindred is good when you have a single massive engage to nullify it, something like Lissandra ultimate, so yes, it works in that regard. But if you're pulling the Kindred ultimate to stop a Twitch from shooting you from half a kilometer away, it's not going to do much, and I think Samstet he's going to have to give us this one. Oh my god!
There's the flash forward and Lucozade is in the line of fire, shutdown going in. CTP takes the lantern, but what a turn of events weapon.
Yeah, just everyone flashes in, pulls the trigger. FTR might be able to run CTB down.
This hits with the charm, nothing left to do as they're turning this fight on its head. The gold lead was there for Massive, but now it's getting ever so close for UQ.
That was absurd. Everyone just commits to the play, and the Braum is able to come in with the... I don't even think... He didn't use the ultimate. It was just a flash Q, and then CM Stat came over the wall, got the steal, and I think Soybu used the ultimate. I completely missed what happened, if I'm perfectly honest, because it just happened so goddamn fast.
I think he came in, he dashed over the wall, flashed over the wall. I'm pretty sure he smited because he has 2 points to smite at the moment, I do believe.
Yep.
And then they turned the fight because there was a flash coming in from Ari, and she landed the charm on Lucozade, and he was just gone.
And no chance to use the lantern. It was actually taken by CTB in the end, so he gets out, but your key carry in the Twitch unfortunately goes down, and I'm not sure if it was a shutdown given over. It actually was going over to the Ari, so gold in her pocket does result in that Everfrost completion. Now they are going to respond with a Rift Herald drop, so they hand a little bit of gold over to the Twitch, but feels like a bit of a consolation prize after that last play.
We don't like consolation prizes here. This is the training grounds. We want hard wins.
Yeah, they are.
Get a point.
Yeah, game 3 can't afford to make many more missteps like that, so Lucozade has the flash now, has to be cognizant of his positioning in the fight to make sure that FTR can't find the angle on him. And we haven't even really spoken about this top laners either, because HD Times and MWB have just been kind of trading priority, trading push, and looking for minor trades. As another hook lands. This is ridiculous. Resurgence lands these.
He's doing a good net. He's threading the needle, if ever I've seen it.
Yeah, he just keeps finding the angles, curving the bullet. But speaking of the top lane, this may be the first time that CM Stat is going to make his way up here. And this is going to be a key matchup, because the tankier this Cassante is, that's another threat you can put on the Twitch, maybe come in on the flank, you punt him out of the fights, but MWB is going to retreat to his tower. He's going to have CTB in tow as well, so could be a bit of a 2v2 scuffle up towards the top side, but I think MWB is going to be largely okay here.
Look, both mid laners are trying to work their way top as well, as they want to do something. But yeah, no, I actually, you read my mind before. You literally mentioned top lane. I was literally thinking, we haven't spoken enough about top lane.
They exist.
What do you think of the Olaf Cassante matchup? Who do you think favors that one?
It's a classic counter, as we may not get time to speak. So Lassea falls out.
Made it pretty clear that she is not going to have that.
Just a clean one. Doesn't even have to burn the flash. But this top lane matchup is generally going to be Olaf favored, especially as the ultimate comes in from the Olaf. You'll see many times where the Cassante tries to pull the trigger. FTR might be under threat.
Wait, no way! What is this Twitch? And here goes Olaf. The Broloff himself is just off that ultimate. Ragnarok is all he needs. But can Cassante survive it? He has to burn the flash. Double flash as well. No ulti available as he's walking out.
Yeah, and there it is, the interaction that I was just trying to talk about. Twitch is coming in with stealth, and CTV is flashing in.
Oh my god, it's made of magic, their weapon. Oh my lord.
Yeah, and again,
aneurysm.
Coordination on display by Massive. They get their members where they need to go. Lucozade is going to potentially pick up this top lane tower, but TP is going to come in. And the interaction we talked about from the Cassante, which I'm going to be able to talk about because that's going to be a floor out from Lassea, is that every time Cassante tries to ultimate, the ulting Olaf, he just cuts his health bar in half, gets some damage for himself, and usually sets himself up to die. FTR. Wait, that was awkward.
It was a good charm.
Yeah, it was a good charm. It was also a really questionable play, and I don't know what the plan was there.
Yeah, I don't know. Look at this team. Look at this Aphelios. He's got the magic core guns on him. Oh,
red white.
Yeah, red white man.
Time to battle.
But look, CTB, do
CTB,
it.
okay.
Do it.
Press
do
W.
Do it. All you need to do, and there it is.
There it is. Nice. All right. Good pick on the Ari. Who hasn't
Dragon's
quite.
coming up though.
Dragon coming up with an Ari dead, 27 seconds. You can use this to get mid lane priority. Maybe look to get a little bit of position on this Dragon, as you even have the Olaf down towards the bot side to clear those waves out. Have the Twitch coming in, and it's actually kind of an interesting situation. We haven't really talked about what the Twitch means, because it's not a pick we see a lot of. It's a kooky champion for sure, and like think about the way that fights tend to happen in League of Legends in 2023, right? You're always looking to get on the flank and disrupt the setup of the AD carry. What's really interesting about Twitch is he can kind of be that guy on the flank if he's set up for it, and it opens up some really weird angles for these fights to unfold. But right now they just have position on the Dragon. Resurgence and MWB playing bodyguard. Samstep maybe looking.
He could go for the steal again here.
Oh my god!
Two steals a game. There's the He's going to be enough as that Fisher does come out, and the fight has begun. Kane taking so low. They're trying to get a little bit more. Lucas has got a lot of kills here. Look at the damage coming out of this rat. He's not holding back as he's throwing down a little bit more. But there's the flash forward from Sue. He's wanting to take on this rat himself. But no, the Moonlight Vigil is not actually available as it already was used, and they do pick up even more as HD Times finishes off Resurgence. They lose the Dragon. They lose the fight. You hate to see it.
Yeah, just incredible smite steals by Samstat every single time. He hops over that wall. Just no way to stop him from jumping over that wall. They could have marked the target, but instead they just kind of let them get away with it. Lucasade isn't going to get... No, he's definitely dead. It's just a question of who he dies to. Oh, that's not what you want.
That's not what you want at all.
No, that's pretty bad, actually. So Samstat is going to get incredibly fed. We talked about this Kindred being the carry threat that you had to look out for, and now she is completely massive. I keep doing this. I keep saying the name of the team because it's a word that we say when we cast.
Yeah.
Get me out.
Just say UQ instead.
It's absolutely UQ. It doesn't quite work.
Absolutely phenomenal?
Absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal is a good one.
Absolutely big.
You're a fan of the beautiful. Might try that one on for size. Yeah, but
You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, man.
Coming to the end of the cast, you're going to start sharing compliments to the chat. You're beautiful too.
Interesting to the cast. The game's not done yet. Job's not done for UQ. They certainly feel like they're in the driver's seat, at least in terms of how this game is being played out. They have the 3 dragons on their back, which means that the next fight has to be the next one has to be contested for Massive. The Twitch does have Mythic online, so he's actually at a decent item clip compared to the Aphelios, who's still looking for that second item, and he no doubt has it. Actually, no, he's quite a ways off, so Lucasade certainly is in a good spot to carry this game. It's just a question of whether he can be set up with the front line to find the picks and have the protection. But
there's the bait going in there. Shield Moonlight Vigil does go down too. There's a lot of damage. There's the stun. There's the Fisher. Lucasade taken off the board almost instantly in that fight, and that's not where you want to be for a rat.
Yeah, it's just awkward. The Lucasade just opens up in basically the middle of the lane in front of his team. Cassante just walks up. He used the ultimate, but we didn't even get to see it because he just disappeared before our eyes.
Literally got hit with the Moonlight Vigil into the Fisher from Braum, and then he was just CC for that long and he couldn't do anything.
He just instantly died.
Yep, but Ragnarok now popped down in his bot lane too. Look, honestly, he's doing a lot of damage. CTB trying to join this fight, but what is going on? Stead, absolutely huge. And HD Times just outplayed the Olaf as well. It is just looking like bells and whistles over for this UQ side.
Yeah, everyone's just kind of sending it on Massive, looking for some sort of playback, and the Olaf is not quite at the point where he can take these one-on-one fights with the Cassante anymore. Lucasade is going to look for something.
Do it? No, the shield is too good.
No way. Yeah, it's that shield. So in that last fight, didn't quite get to talk about it. the MVP of that fight was actually Kane, just throwing up the shield, and then Lucozade was forced to just hit that thing, waiting for it to drop. Eventually he was going to get through, but then HD comes in on the flank and just stops him from being able to do anything. And of course the charm, the Moonlight Vigil lands and is just dead, and it's also done, but CTB
has to use the Spirit Rush out of there.
Ooh, interesting choice by CTB, actually. We hadn't quite picked it up. It's a Heart Steal on the Sejuani.
Yeah, I did like
That's something to see.
Especially this sort of late into the game, like you've kind of got 30 stacks on that. You sort of go Heart Steal, almost rush early if you can. But do you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
look at that.
Okay.
Okay, it's fine. They've at least done a good job of keeping their structures up, so the mid lane tower is open. This gives Lucozade some avenue to farm. But right now Kane is doing... Yeah, Dragon up, but they do have the Olaf in position in the pit, but looks like they've just given up all sense of priority to the UQ side, who've just got full control, even taking away the vision, so you're not even going to know when that dragon's going down. It's got a... Oh, you've got a Scuttle Crab. That definitely helps.
Well, honestly, big shout out to UQ as well. They've done almost a reverse sweep here in a best of 3. Like, they lost the first game and they've just come back and said, we're not going to let you have this easy. So, really big props to them too for really taking control of both of these games.
Yeah, for sure, and a lot of it has been off the back of CM's stat. The scoreline isn't as pretty, but he has been putting in the work, doing the bulk of the carrying.
But here comes the big fight as Thresh is taken very low, but they're going for a big fight. Look at the damage coming out. It's almost unrecognizable to see who is where. Steph is being chased in the water. Has to pop the answer as well, but there is time in underneath these towers. Is he going to die though? Look at Lucia also. FTR double kill heading over to this Ahri. Just these fights are just so disjointed.
Yeah, that was basically the perfect setup you want to see for the team comp of Massive, but again, you're shooting a Braum shield, and yes, there's a world where it drops and you get the cleanup, but everyone just disengages after the shield goes down. They manage to pick up the kills. HD times goes forward, nearly trades his life for it, but is able to get the ult down, and I believe it was him that managed to kill Lucozade in the back end of the fight. Flash comes over the wall from Stamstat and he gets the ultimate to survive, and they again pick up another one fight. They pick up that Cloud Drake. They're straight on the Baron. No rest for the Wicked as they look to potentially close this one out with the Big Purple Worm.
Helios does have the white and red and looking to do a lot of damage. Sejuani can't even get into this fight right now. She's been held off by Cassandre. 3 Baron if ever I've seen it. And they just walk away with everything in tow.
Lucasade's in, but it's just way too late as well, so really good bodyguarding by HD time, stopping CTB from getting in. No one was in position, and by the time they were able to get any access to the Baron pit, it was just far too late. So now they have to contend with a Baron buffed up UQ squad that is going to have all of their defensive ultimates coming up very, very soon. The Braum ultimate is ready and available, so if you go for that engage, it's going to get stuffed. Lamb for Respite's going to be available very, very soon, but Flash is also up for the Kindred, so you've got a hard ask in front of you if you are going to find that backline and win these fights. But right now I think you just have to content yourself with just farming up waves and waiting for the next opportunity.
Well, it just... Even then it feels so hard as this Kindred does punch out so much damage. The Aphelios isn't fed, but the Aphelios is doing damage. And MWB has to pop the Ghost to get away. His bot lane, there's 3 members there that contest, and they're still pushing in mid lane too. So it's just so hard for MWB to really have impact as he's getting caught out by Steph, and the pressure goes straight to the mid lane. So you can see HD locked out, but they've used everything for him. It's the 1-for-1 trade. How does it work?
Okay, trade of top laners, and the gold does go over to the Twitch, so it's a decent pick all said and done. You're going to trade your bot lane tower for it, which is definitely not great, but at least you're getting something back for yourselves. But if they don't defend this bot lane tier 3, I think it's just gone for the world.
Twitch is just staying mid anyway. He's going to start backing.
Okay.
But
there's no wave.
Hops
Not yet.
The wall.
Okay. So, yeah, they've recognized that there was no wave at least, so they were able to pick up that objective bounty. Now the Twitch is back and available. Runon's complete as well, means that he does get to do more damage in these AoE fights.
Moonlight Vigil gets knocked down. Oh, there's the flash. Oh, there's nothing to do, Lucas. He just get absolutely blown up. Zombies comes out. There goes the Thresh Lantern, bringing him back in as well. But no, Step picking up that. This is game over. There's nothing you can do at this point as it's walking down into your lane. They've landed everything. The flash engages forward. Even the Brawn takes their L, but that's okay as they are just looking so fierce. UQ Eagles absolutely dominating this game, and they're heading towards a 10k gold lead, finishing off the second tier tower. They pop the ultimate as well. Kindred seeing the life connection too. All they need to do is hit the Nexus. Looks like it's well played with the shutdown going over, but CTV is just a cheeky tanky boy with cheeky Heartsteel, and they end the game 2-1 reverse sweep, all in favor of UQ, and it was just an absolute pleasure to watch these Titans play.
Really nicely played. CM Stat putting the team on his back, of course, did have a lot of the members along for the ride, but it felt like it was those Dragon Steels that really made the bulk of the difference there, where they were able to just constantly force them to have to check into them. The setups weren't quite there. They weren't quite able to find the backline, and there was just so much protection with Kane throwing up that shield every time the Twitch altered. And it was just so hard to navigate. And then there was just a couple of blunders where it felt like maybe Massive were a little bit flustered and they weren't quite positioning the way they should. So it all kind of fell apart, but largely really well played by UQ.
Yeah, absolutely. If you had to put an MVP onto this one, who would you give the MVP over to? Obviously on UQ's side, who are you thinking?
I mean, it has to be CM Stat. I think he really did hard carry all 3 games, or at least tried to. The Talia game, we kind of were a little bit quiet on him. We didn't quite put the respect on his name, but he was the second highest damage even in that loss. So there was a lot of positive there from that player. I think, of course, FTR, once he was taken off the Aurelia, looked really, really good, but on the Ari was just a completely different beast and managed to find the angle every single time to get that carry.
Yeah, no, I have to absolutely agree, but I got to give some props over to So as well on this AD carry. Just played an actual phenomenal game, even in the way that he was sort of taken off the game. He stayed, he farmed, he knew his win con was that. So really big props for even in the loss, stuck to his guns and said, I'm going to just farm it out. So you can't ignore the 80 carries in this game who are punching out quite a lot of damage. So guys, we are going to hand that over to the analysts to break down that final game, but absolutely pleasure casting for you guys tonight. Well played. GG going over to UQ. We'll see you next time. Take it over. Casual and Quicksand.
Thank you, Pike and Weapon, for putting on such a show for us as well. I mean, you guys did an awesome job. Pike, I see you've been remembering some of the ults as well. Nice work, mate. I love that. Either way, mate, Kindred went unbelievable that game. 2 Dragon Steals in a row and then carrying the game. That shutdown on the Twitch, who was running for his life trying to get the execute at the very end as well. It all just came together so well for UQ. And I gotta say, I'm a happy man all around. I guess who bet his points on UQ and bet all of them. Look, Casual, I don't think there's too much to... Well, actually, there's quite a bit to dive into this game, but I know we have to keep this segment short. Let's just get your thoughts on the game. Oh, he's done it again. He's done it again.
I've done it again. It really is getting to that sort of time. What I was saying was I was just thanking you, Quicksand. I was thanking you because you were being so respectful in regards to the channel points, because I definitely did not go all in on Massive, and I definitely did not lose all of my channel points as they fell.
6x, baby. 6x.
In this series. Yeah, no, it's a bit disappointing, but really it was a game of mistakes, to be honest. I feel like even though Kindred, found those 2 amazing smites and absolutely did carry the game through getting those smites and securing those Dragons, it was looking like Massive were in a really, really good form at the start of that game. I mean, Sejuani was sort of routing the Kindred at every single point that she wanted to invade on and that she wanted to look for different kills. Sejuani was there, catching out Ari in the mid lane as well, getting himself a kill too, keeping your solo laners alive. I think the biggest thing I want to point out was that Massive weren't able to do what they should have set out to do from draft, right? They've picked the Olaf into the Cassante, they've got themselves a really nice counter matchup, and then Olaf's losing lane to Cassante early. Like, MWB was kept really, really quiet throughout that entire game, and I think credit has to go more to HD Times for just showcasing how absolutely broken Cassante is. Like, oh my god, people complain about this champion, but I feel like that goes to the next level when you know what you're doing, and HD Times just knows this champion to a T. We saw that particularly in the mid fight between that tier 1, tier 2 turret in mid lane, where he's tanking 2 turrets at the same time. He's also diving the enemy. He's killing the entire backline. Like, only really proficient Cassante players can actually understand that that's an angle you can look for. Ridiculous that you're allowed to do that, but you need to be able to pull the trigger, and that's what he did. So credit goes to UQ's top laner, but it can't just be him because everyone just showed up. I think Kane, particularly UK Eagles support, had a pretty tricky game one, I'd say. Really wasn't showing up, and he was looking really scared and not really sure of himself. But game 2 and 3, he was just so well placed throughout every single fight to keep Soy alive. So UQ Eagles just played way better as a team than Massive did. Unfortunate for members like Lucozade, who did so well to be so strong in every single game despite deficits. And then, of course, that Caitlyn game we won't mention because that was just a crazy 1v9. So, yeah, there were moments and highlights for Massive, but overall in this last 2 games in this series, they just fell short to being able to actually play as 5. And UQ Eagles found their feet after that first loss, and I think have earned a very, very well-deserved victory in our first series of this tournament.
Well, thank you, Casual. I think when we saw that mid lane brawl, I was saying that it was he was having a massage and he got served bed and breakfast on the other side, bro. No damage given, being fed kills, mate. He was having the time of his life.
Yeah.
Either way, I know we've all got work to do, we've got responsibilities, and we've got beds to sleep in. Your penguin is looking a little lonely, Casual. So
he sure is. Yeah, it's all right, buddy. I'm coming soon.
So, either way, so. Before we finish up today, I'd like to give a big shout out to all the production for making an amazing contribution to everything. And big shout out to our casters for doing an awesome job. That's right, on production, sorry, we got Black Nico, White Nico, and Temporal. And then Razy and all the other admins as well. Besides that, I'd like to remind everybody that unfortunately next week there will be no games because we're too busy showing love and affection for the person that birthed us. So... There is Mother's Day coming up. Please make sure you use that to show love and affection to your mother instead of watching League of Legends, even though we love it here. Maybe you can watch it with her. I'm sure MSI is on or something.
Or maybe just watch one game. Yeah. Just
one game.
Limit to the one game. Yeah.
Or you could queue with her, but if you lose, you can't end on a loss. So you could play 2 games, right?
Just grind it out. Yeah, sure. Don't play ranked that day, anyone. That sounds like a scary time.
Either way, shout out to everybody else for doing an awesome job. All the players for coming and playing today, and everyone for watching. I hope you all have an awesome evening. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks' time to watch Avalanche Pink play up against the Weeknight Warriors.
Yeah, very exciting. See you guys then. Bye.